In this game, there are many problems. It's a very hard game. My team is feeding their brains out. The enemy Leshrac 5 is above my Tidehunter 3 and my Storm mid. It's bad. I end up carrying this game. We win. And I'm going to talk about my thought process. And my hope is that you guys use how I think and apply it to your role or your hero. And I'm not trying to like glaze myself because I think that I played pretty close to my best ever this game, and so it's really helpful even for me to just break things down. I felt really clear-headed. So my goal in this game right now is just to farm and get to my item timing, because that's when I will be very strong relatively in the game. And on carry, this is your job most of the time, right? And on lifestealer specifically, that's typically Radiance, S&Y, and Armlet is like your main timing. But that brings me to the first big problem in this game, which is the enemy Weaver carry going Orchid first item. Silences are a really big counter to Lifestealer because Rage and Infest are the main ways that he protects himself, and he can't use those if he's silenced. So even with my item timing, that will be a problem. And he can kill me on the map really easily and slow me down from hitting that timing. So what is the solution to that problem? The first solution is to build Manta instead of S&Y, because if I don't do that, it will be really hard for me to play the fight. And the second part of the solution is to not go near this Weaver until I finish my Manta, because he hard counters my hero right now. So things were okay when he was top and I was happily farming bot, but then he makes his way bot. I had kind of a nice map read here, right? I figured he was going to come, so I don't die to it. And so I just leave and eventually make my way top. And I would continue playing cat and mouse with him like that until I finish my Manta. Another very large problem in this game is that we cannot fight them 5v5 because they are 9k gold up at 16 minutes. I'll do a little scoreboard check for you guys just so you can see how bad this game really is. What is the solution to the problem that we cannot fight them 5v5 right now? To fight them with a numbers advantage. I have this golden opportunity here where the Weaver TP's right in front of me, and he also happens to be the hero who's the most problematic for me. So look at the minimap. I immediately TP bottom. I even pop Rage just to make sure that it goes off, because I know that this is a golden opportunity. So immediately, no hesitation, I draw this line on the minimap. I'm in the mic yelling at my team, go, 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 divide, divide. Like, Weaver TP'd bottom, everybody in. Like, just run at them, throw your bodies. Because I know that the Weaver's not going to be able to connect quickly to a play that we make here. What happens from this is we get a huge kill on the OD, right? I get a 7 streak, like 1,300 gold for my team. But even despite that, this Weaver Orchid still exists, so it's really hard for me to play until I get Manta. So I basically just AFK, and I don't interact with enemy heroes until I get the Manta. And Weaver in general, for my hero this game, even after I get the Manta, is going to be the most problematic hero. He counters Lifestealer pretty hard because he's very heavy physical burst damage, and I can never like man fight him. I can man fight him, but I can just never like get on top of him because he can always just kite with Sakuchi. And his hero just doesn't really care about my rage at all. So if in a team fight, Weaver's a problem for me, and I know that that's holding me back from carrying the game, what's the solution to that? Try to kill the Weaver first. Okay, so we skipped ahead. Things are looking even worse than before. We're 2 racks down. We're 26k gold down. I still have a pretty good game though. I pretty much know that if Weaver doesn't die in these fights, we're going to lose the fight. Like, I'm not really going to be able to play the game. And he has a butterfly, so the item to kill him is MKB. And so that's why I have an MKB. Because honestly, I know I'm having a good game. If Weaver dies, I can basically 1v4 the rest of their team, right? It's a very, very good Lifestealer game, except for the Weaver. So Weaver honestly gives us like a pretty golden opportunity here by just walking up and hitting our base without Aegis, which people do make these mistakes, right? If they're doing it in my games, they're definitely going to be doing it in your games too. And he made it pretty easy for us to kill him, honestly, because he doesn't have any defensive items. So I'm like yelling at my team to go on Weaver this whole time. I think I say it like 10 times before someone actually does anything. But what happens is we go on Weaver and we just kill him, right? And that was a nice Ravage by Tide to stop the Astral. I mean, honestly, OD probably could have. I don't know if he was like slow or what happened. But regardless, now that Weaver's dead, like, I know that I'll be able to carry this fight. So, and what's interesting about this play is you look at it, if you look at it from this Weaver's perspective, he is not at all thinking about his problems in this game. And honestly, I think at this point in the game, his only problem is dying 100 to 0 like that, right? If he survives and presses R after we use Ravage and Warlock Golem, like he's just going to carry the fight. And even after this happened, I think, spoiler, this happens to him like 2 or 3 more times, this Weaver. And then he buys BKB, I think, after like 2 more times of this happening. But the good players like think ahead about this kind of stuff, right? So, you know, if I were him, I would have something like S and Y, BKB. I don't know, as my items. Maybe even like a Scotty. I don't really know. But just something to tank up, right? To prevent against that happening. Or another solution to that problem is getting an Aegis, right? Because the only way that we kill him is with these massive cooldown spells like Ravage and Golem. And if we use those on his Aegis, then he'll have a second life when we don't have those spells, and he has free reign. So I honestly think he doesn't even need the S and Y. It's probably like Aegis plus BKB, or even Aegis S and Y. I think either of those. The next problem that I identify in the game for my hero is this OD Blink Hex, right? That is a really big threat to me on Lifestealer because I won't be able to get, again, Rager and Fest off if I'm hexed. And he can kill me basically full to 0 with just Blink Hex and probably one other hero on their team. So what is the solution to Blink Hex? It is the Lincoln Sphere. And this is also a really good Lincoln's game because of Pudge ult. Or I actually go BKB first. But it's a very similar idea. It's just that I can't like get initiated onto. I just have to preemptively pop my BKB, but that prevents me from being blink hexed, and it prevents like less track damage. And it's good against all their heroes except Weaver. So my game plan is still the same, right? If we kill Weaver, I can carry the game. Okay, so now I have the BKB Lincolns. I'm pretty sure that we're just going to kill the Weaver. I think the Weaver's going to make the same mistake again here that he made before. Oh no, he got BKB off. Okay. So now I know that Weaver survived here. I'm conscious of that. So I'm like very aware that I need to kill Weaver if we want to win this fight. So what happens here? I'm pretty sure we kill Weaver. Okay, my Storm buys back. And now I'm like yelling at my Storm to go on Weaver. And so I turn on Weaver with my Storm. He gets a nice pull. And we end up killing him. And so now I know that my fight is free. Or at least I thought that my fight was free. But here we run into yet another problem. Which is that it's very hard for me to like stick on targets, right? I can't like hit anybody. They're just kiting me and it doesn't feel good. So my solution to that could be one of two things. One is Nullifier and the other is Abyssal Blade. And both are fine. But honestly, they didn't have like that much to dispel. It's like just the Glimmer Cape and then one Ghost Scepter. So I ended up going the Abyssal Blade. And I end up carrying this game just to relive the glory in like a YOLO throne push where Leshrac diebacked. And even though they're still 30k gold up, I'm just calling like to all in the throne. And even though they're trying to rat us, like I'm like base race. And yeah, they try to defend, but I just all in the throne with my BKB and it's easy dub. It's an easy dub. So I guess this video ended up mostly being about like itemization, but the 4v5 play was also a really good example of problem solving in Dota to win the game. And it starts from clearly identifying what the problem is. And then once you've identified the problem, I found that coming up with the solution is also like pretty intuitive. Usually if I identify the problem for my coaching students, they're able to come up with the solution themselves. But my hope also is that you guys can again apply this to your hero and your role and not just Lifestealer on carry. And you definitely can. There's a lot to talk about though with other roles and stuff. And you know, I talked about how on carry your main job is to hit your item timings and become really strong at that timing. Every role has like a different job, and then there are going to be problems that prevent you from doing that job. Good luck, have fun in your games, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. Also, speaking of my coaching students, I have some openings for my coaching. So if you want to climb quickly, the link for that will be in the description of this video. Peace.